Hello, we're live, and tonight I am with Dustin from Keto Simple. Hello, Dustin.
Hello, can you hear me? I think I just froze up.
You did. I don't know if that's
Ah,
my
well,
internet or your internet.
let me try this here.
Okay. In 1 second or so, we are going to discuss Dustin's 7 day water fast, which I would like to know all about because I often wish I could water fast, and that never really happens. Oh, I lost Dustin. Hopefully, he comes back to us. If you're watching, let me know who's watching, and we can chat a little bit. I hope Dustin comes back. Oh no. Uh, this is my comment about my live stream so far. This is going to be awesome. Anyways, so while we're waiting for Dustin, I want to tell everybody about something very exciting. Jordan Peterson yesterday tweeted out our trailer for the carnivore diet, and that's pretty awesome. Hey, Dustin, I'm glad you're back.
All right. Yes.
um, I was just saying before you, while you were out, that yesterday Jordan Peterson tweeted out the Healing Humanity trailer, and that's like mind blowing. I love that so much.
Is that Carrie Mann's video that or the movie that's coming out?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
And I've
okay.
helped fundraise a lot of money for that. So it's kind of like a little bit my baby. It's mainly his baby, but it's still awesome.
I'm not super familiar with what's going on with that. Is Jordan or Michaela involved in that at all?
Hmm,
Are they
not yet, but
okay?
not yet. But that's a good sign that they might, if they're that interested, that he would tweet the trailer. So that's awesome. Have you seen the trailer?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay, I'll send it to you afterwards. Let's see. Hello, Don, and hi, Charlie.
Charlie's here.
Charlie. I'm going to talk to Charlie Saturday morning unless my husband changes our Saturday plans. So I'll keep you posted, Charlie, but I hope to talk to you. he, he was looking at some stuff to take the kids, and I'm like, oh, maybe. I hope I still talk to Charlie this weekend. Okay. Anyways, Dustin, you just did a 7 day water fast. That's crazy. What happened? How'd that
Well, I
go?
try to well, I try to do like 1 to 2, maybe 3 a year.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I did one. I usually start the year off with one. Usually start like January 2nd.
Okay.
Um, and this one was kind of like the conclusion of like June is like a tumultuous month for us, basically with
Oh, okay.
birthdays and all the kinds of stuff going on. So a lot of
Mm,
things to do that involve not eating on plan, and um, so I try to do a fast. So 7 days is relatively easy anymore for me, and I say that not lightly.
oh, okay.
Because I've done 14, 15, 21 days. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, um, I usually start like this time. I started the fast started Friday night, so Thursday I had my last cup of coffee. Friday I had my last meal. So
Wow.
realistically, the fast started on like basically Friday night, Saturday morning. I went to a meetup Saturday with lots of wonderful food going on, and I still didn't. It was like, well, that was bad timing, but
Yeah.
um, so I just had um, unflavored electrolytes each day, multiple times a day, depending.
Okay.
Some apple cider vinegar a little bit because sometimes when I'm fasting, I'll get like heartburn
Mm-hmm.
or like indigestion for whatever reason. Probably just not enough in my stomach or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and some extra magnesium that'll help me sleep because I find that when
Sure.
I'm fasting, I don't sleep as well. So the extra magnesium goes a little ways to help me with the sleeping. And then I broke it. 7 days later, I did some beef broth with butter and
Mm,
salt.
nice. And look, Charlie was so nice. Look what he did for you. I
He
ate
is.
Dustin's.
He's so thoughtful, and he ate all the brisket, and I kept his umbrella.
That's hilarious. Um, okay, so I've never fasted actually more than like just over 24 hours, for instance, just around the 24-hour mark. How does it go for you? Are you've done it multiple times, but is there still like a few days that you're like in excruciating hunger pain, or how does that go for you?
Well, I mean, like the first 24 hours are irritating
Okay.
because you're so used to just eating whenever you want. So there's like that mental
Mhm.
block. I don't know what is
Mhm.
going on with everything today. I'm frozen again. But
Oh, yeah. Hopefully they'll come back, but keep talking.
um
We can hear you.
yeah, so yeah, I too started like when I started this journey, which was like 2016, fasting was kind of a new thing going around.
Yeah.
Um and I never thought about like an eating window whatsoever. So I started with like a 12 and 12 eating window when I first started. So
Okay.
and then after a couple of months I dropped that down to, 14, was that 14:10, and then 16:8 after a couple of more months. And then after like 2 years, I got down to where basically I was doing 21:3, 23:1,
Oh,
just
okay.
doing like OMAD type of thing because it
Yeah.
really fit my schedule.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to pack lunches. I didn't have to meal prep. I just got up and left the house. And then when I got home, I made dinner for the family and I ate dinner with the family and then I was done.
Oh, that's awesome. So for me, I would love to do fasting, but speaking of family, I'm making food for my kids all day.
I do that
So,
too. I
okay.
cook every day for the granddaughter. I cook for the wife.
Mm.
I go out to dinner with people. We went to the movies. Nothing stops. You just keep going. And I know that that's probably a little frustrating or a little out of reach for people who are just kind of starting out, but
Sure.
um, it just kind of becomes, just another tool in your toolbox.
That's awesome. And so you started in 2016 with keto and fasting or just fasting?
With keto, and then
Oh, okay.
fasting kind of followed up a little bit into it once they sort of got into ketosis after a few months, and then I started,
Yeah.
allowing myself to focus on the fasting and such as well.
Okay, awesome. How did you find keto?
Well, I was going through some health issues. I had an umbilical hernia, and I
Mm,
was starting to go and see my GP for that, and I wanted
okay.
to get a CPAP. I got tested for um, sleep apnea, which they were like it was really bad. I would stop like breathing 70 sometimes an hour, which is awful, very
Oh,
dangerous.
wow. Yeah,
Um,
that's terrible.
yeah. So, and I was doing all that footwork for all these things that I wanted to do. I stepped on the scale, and the scale showed me that I was 421 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And it's just one of those things like it's easy to ignore that you're getting bigger, even though you're
Sure.
going through the process. You're going through
Sure.
the process, you're buying bigger clothes, you're buying
Hmm.
bigger shirts, I had just started wearing like 5X t-shirts, and I've been wearing like 50-inch pants. And I've had people say, well, that's not that big, but I wore them under my belly or under my gut. If I probably
Okay.
would have put them above and where your waist is, I would probably have been a 60, 65-inch waist.
Oh, wow.
And I've always been a big guy anyway.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's always little things that kind of happen and you just kind of live with it. It's crazy what you can get used to and live with.
Right.
And
Totally.
then once I saw the over 400 pounds, I knew I was a big guy. I knew that there was issues. I knew that there was a lot of problems. And I got home from that doctor visit, and the wife and I sat down, and she is, at the time, was a pancreatic RN. So she worked on a pancreatic floor,
Okay.
and they would get a lot of weight loss surgery issues coming back, like
Oh, wow.
redos or things going wrong with weight loss surgery and such. So when we had a very serious discussion of what are we going to do?
Right.
What's our course of action here? It's like, do we want to just try and go for weight loss surgery? And she did not want to do that. Obviously, her experience with her job and seeing all of the complications coming back weeks, months, years later, she just didn't want to. She's basically like, it changes your life anyway. So basically, let's go low carb.
Oh, wow.
but we had no idea what low carb was.
At least, but it's the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it was the sentiment, right? So I mean, we were like,
Yeah.
I was taking my lunch, so I was starting with like packing my lunch for the first couple of like first month. I was packing oatmeal with honey instead of sugar, and I was doing, you know what I mean? Like you think you're
Yeah.
doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I started going online at work, trying to find low carb soup recipes, low carb this recipes, and I kept coming across a website for and I can't remember what it was called, but it was a children's epilepsy recipe website,
Oh,
and it
interesting.
was like ketogenic recipes, and I was like, well, I don't even know what that is, and then I went
Yeah.
to a um, follow up appointment with my general practitioner, and we've been doing low carb, and we had started to kind of slowly figure out what low carb was, and we were replacing mashed potatoes with cauliflower mash, and starting to do the process. And he was like, well, if you want to lose weight, you got to be in ketosis.
Oh, okay. And you're like,
But he
yay.
didn't elaborate whatsoever. He said that and kind of like in passing, kind of like, well, if you want to lose weight, you got to be in ketosis. And we're like, okay. So I had that in my head as we were going home. I was like, ketosis. I've been seeing ketogenic websites. What's all this about? And I had just really started diving into podcasts.
Oh, okay.
So I searched keto podcasts, and basically what came up were Jimmy Moore podcasts, because he had been doing it for years at that point. So Jimmy Moore was all over the podcasts, and I found two keto dudes.
Two keto dudes.
Yeah, Carl and Richard, they were huge for me. I went in and I basically came into them being and doing their podcast for maybe 8 months or something like that, and I binged and caught up to real time.
Oh, okay.
And so I binged. I was listening to like 3-4 episodes a day, or
Oh,
as fast as
wow.
I could anyway, because they're like
Sure.
hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
So we decided, we started talking about it, looking into it, and I was like, I've been, listening to this podcast. They're talking about keto, just less than 20 grams of carbs a day. That was 20 net carbs.
Oh, yeah.
And
Now it's 20 total. I mean, it probably was always 20 total.
yeah, I mean, it's still flexible depending on who you are and what you're doing, but
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, I mean, this is the time of 20 net carbs,
Okay.
moderate protein,
Yeah.
because of gluconeogenesis, even though there's new information that's come out that's changed a lot of people's minds on that, but not all the
Sure.
way.
Yeah.
So we started doing that, and that's kind of where we started from. And I still am a person who kind of goes down the rabbit hole. So I was watching Low Carb Down Under. I was watching all of these long, dry. Some of them were very, very dry about all the
Oh, yeah.
science and all the stuff that where we are, and
Yeah.
then Professor Noakes and Finney and Volek and all these amazing people kind of just deep dive into all of that, and just started on their happy way.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's awesome. And what have you reversed, or how much have you lost since 2016?
So the lowest weight I got down to about 273.
Okay. And how tall are you?
I'm about 6 foot.
So that seems about okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm up about 300 and something right now.
Oh, okay.
Because when the pandemic hit and we all went
yeah.
locked down, and like even if we tried to be as consistent as we could, but it was way too easy to just kind of slide back. We never went off the rails, but
Okay.
we were like, oh well, let's order some Thai food, or we haven't seen anybody in forever. Let's just eat our feelings, And I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just tosses everything upside down. And so we kind of came out of the end of it going, what happened? But we
Right.
never really lost sight of keto. So, I mean, we were still predominantly keto, probably more so like 75-25 versus we, wanted to be 90-10 or whatever.
Sure.
So we're
Okay.
clawing our way back from that now. So
Okay, yeah, I understand. Life happens. So you got to do the best you can, and you know, I understand clawing your way back. I've been doing carnivore since March last year, and then I went home and I visited family for a month, and I just put 15 pounds on, and I've been working off that 15 pounds since November.
oh yeah.
It's crazy. Oh my god. I mean, I have some left to go to get back to where I was. So I know it, the food. You know, I live in Colombia, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The food here is much different. And I noticed like if I started eating off and I started eating just like standard American food, it took me away from wanting to eat meat. And it was just so weird. So, just another thing. The food here is, I think, a lot better than in the States. But here we go. This is a question for you. On extended fasting, do you take on extra projects to take up the extra time not eating or prepping food?
Well, I still cook and I still do all the normal things that I do because we have our granddaughter 5 days a week. And so I cook for her. I cook for the wife. I make her lunches. I do whatever, anything she eats, I cook. So basically, it's business as usual. So there's nothing really different for me outside of I usually quit coffee for the fast.
Okay.
And I just have the salt water or whatever. One thing I did notice this time was as the week went on, I was so I was using like a pack. So I was using salty this time. I was using the unflavored clean slate salty,
Mm-hmm.
and I was using one pack for about 30 ounces of water with ice. And as the week went on, it got to the point where it was too salty for me. Like at the beginning, it barely tasted it salty at all. So I basically got to the point towards the end of the week where I was splitting it in half. I was
Oh,
taking like
okay.
a shaker bottle, shaking it, taking a shaker bottle, filling it with the packet and the water, shaking it, pouring half of that in my cup with the ice and filling it the rest of the way with water. And I kind of finished like the last like 2 days that way, which I'm not quite sure because I haven't experienced that before where the salty got too salt, like where the electrolytes or the salt I'm adding
Oh,
was
interesting.
too salty because I wasn't adding any more. It was just maybe I was because they say that like if you're dehydrated, you don't taste the salt as much. So maybe I was
Oh,
properly
wow.
hydrated towards the end of the
Yeah.
week, and so um, I wish I would have had a little bit more time. I could have got more video work done.
Yeah, exactly. On your channel, you guys do lots of videos like about food and prepping, like keto and keto foods, right?
Right. We do reviews, we do cooking videos, we do lives, and I've been putting out some like informational videos. Like I just put a video out on Saturday about sea salt, iodized sea salt. I had saw some posts on Facebook. People were like panicking about there being dextrose in sea salt or iodized sea
Mm,
salt.
yeah,
So I went looking into that. I was like, well, there's sugar in there, but how much sugar? And what I found was it's such a tiny amount that you'd probably have to eat like the half the container for your body to really recognize you've had salt or sugar in the first place. So
mm,
it's not
okay,
something that I would necessarily concern myself with. What
sure,
I found was probably the microplastics, and it would probably be the worst thing in it over the sugar.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think doesn't that just like kind of stay in your body forever and it won't ever decompose? Like,
I mean, that's kind of what they're saying right now, but I think there's going to be a lot of fear versus reality coming out. We'll probably have to
okay,
kind of wait and see. They
yeah.
say that you're getting like a credit card worth of plastic. I don't know if it's a month or a year, basically.
Where does it go?
I mean, it's such small, like you don't even see it in the salt. You know what I mean? So,
Oh
I mean,
man,
that's at least what they're saying now, because most of the cheap, affordable iodized sea salt you buy in the grocery store, whether it's name brand or store brand or whatever, it's
yeah,
just evaporated sea salt. So
yeah.
whatever's in the sea is in the salt, and I
Mm-hmm.
doubt they're doing anything extra to pull out microscopic plastics.
Sure. That's why you want to get like Redmond's or Something better.
Yeah,
if you can, like, that's not to say if you can't, you got to do the best you can.
because I think, if you're looking at something like what I have at home, I have Redmond salt, I use iodine, and I have iodized sea salt, because iodized sea salt's like $2 for a container. I don't know why I'm trying to use my hands. You can't see me anyway.
No,
But I mean,
I wish I could.
we've got the iodine drops. We've got some Redmond salt.
Yeah,
I think we utilize a little bit of everything, and I think just depending on your budget, like,
yeah,
$10 for a bag of salt may be out of somebody's reach, or
right.
3 bottles of iodine is like $40. That might be out of somebody's reach. You
Yeah.
know, it just comes down to what works best for you. And that's kind of why I just try to demystify things too, because
Okay.
it's easy to go into the sky is falling, panicky type situation. And some
Right.
of it's warranted and some of it's not.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's super helpful because there's a lot of false and scary and fear mongering information, and it's good to have some like correct data happening. I think there is another question. Let's see. First, I'll put this up. So I'm going to not say this correctly. Agoraphobic carnivore. I looked up that word last week, agoraphobic, and it basically means, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, like a fear of big groups of people and of like going outside the house. I'm not sure. Hey, there you are. You're back.
All right.
But that's what I understand, and I watched one of his videos so I can understand that a little bit more what that means. So,
because agoraphobia is like where you just can't leave your house.
You can't leave your house, and it's like an anxiety and fear of like getting embarrassed in front of people is what I understood. But from what I understand, this gentleman right here, the agoraphobic carnivore, is doing better on carnivore, and another girl has a similar channel with a similar name, and was able to go outside 4 times. She comments on my post. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. The crazy changes that can happen when you feed the body and the mind the proper human food. Okay. He says, my sister had the sleeve and then the DL switch. I'm not sure what DL is. If surgery can be avoided, it should be at all costs. I agree with that completely. And then the question is, what tips and tricks have you learned along the way? What's your favorite meal? Well, since it's just me right now. Oh, here we go. Dustin's back. Oh. Dustin, are you back? There you go. Are you back?
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see. If I freeze up again, I'll just restart.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Cindy, Dustin, you're frozen on the screen, but can hear you. Yes, we're trying to fix that. There we go. I lost his question. Let me get back to the question. It says, what tips and tricks have you learned along the way? What's your favorite meal?
I guess the tips and tricks are just to find what is the easiest and works best for you, and that takes time.
Yeah.
Because when we started, we were, everything was a replacement, and we're doing all kinds of crazy cooking, and that subsides. I mean, I still make chaffles, and I still do things like that for bread, or make things out of cauliflower sometimes, like, whatever, right? But a majority of the time, the tip is just like meat and eggs. I just make hamburger patties. I usually get frozen burger patties and cook up some eggs. The wife likes steak. She likes chicken. So really, just what can we make that takes 15 minutes and we can go on about our day? So like my favorite meal, I think, is just beef and eggs, really.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty simple. That's what I'm eating right now. Beef, eggs, maybe a little bit of cheese. Sometimes I want chicken. Sometimes I want chicken liver. I eat that about once a week, maybe twice a week. And it's just simple. I think you finally just figure out like what you like and you stick to that. It's so easy. So are you eating kind of like a carnivore-ish sort of way right now, or is it go back and forth?
It's majority carnivore.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, keto, because it's just ease and variety and such.
Oh yeah, that's true. I can't do. So are you a big salad guy or no?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind a salad every once in a while, but it's just not economical, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, because you just like waste it and it's in the fridge and you don't eat it and it rots, right?
You buy so much stuff, and then like you get the tiny little container of salad dressing that doesn't have seed oils in it,
Yeah.
or you have seed oils because you want to pay $2 a bottle versus $10 for a teeny little bottle.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really think you're getting a whole lot of nutrition out of it. If you really enjoy salads and you like putting in like the little chipped almonds and bacon bits and cheese and whatever, then sure, go for it. But to me, it just doesn't seem like it's nutrient dense enough for the cost.
Right. I have gone before carnivore and attempting to do keto properly. I've gone on big salad binges and I would have like a huge bowl. It would take me like an hour to chop everything up. And I just remember one night after this whole process, maybe not an hour, but it took a long time of putting all the vegetables in there and eating my huge, gigantic salad. And then I'm like, why don't I feel amazing? I remember thinking this, like, I don't understand why I don't feel good. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, it took several more years to figure out that maybe I shouldn't eat salad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't like that every single day, but, and it's so many vegetables wasted because I was like, oh, I got to eat my vegetables. And then I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then they just die in the refrigerator.
Yeah. So we typically buy everything. Any vegetables that we buy frozen.
Okay.
So we buy and usually have some bags of broccoli or Brussels sprouts in the freezer.
Yeah.
Unless we are planning to cook it that night, we
Okay.
won't buy fresh vegetables. We won't buy fresh broccoli.
Oh, okay. Smart.
I mean, sometimes, like for me, buying fresh Brussels sprouts is like, it's like a lot of work because you got to cut them. And yeah, you buy them frozen, put them in the pan, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Frozen is the way. Rebecca has a question for you because I'm not good at fasting. On fasting, how do you keep from having large stress response to fasting? I fasted for 26 hours once and had a huge stress response. Eating resolved all issues.
So I'm not quite sure what she means by stress response.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I inadvertently fast a lot just because I forget to eat.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, I've had to kind of start putting a little thing in place for myself to where like, if I don't eat by 7:00 at night, then I won't eat. Because if I eat too late before bed, then I'll feel bad in bed and I'll just kind of be up with like burpy or whatever. Because you're like eat too soon before going to bed. I feel like I lay down and then I just feel, doesn't matter what I eat.
Yeah.
It's just like it all tries to come back up again. And it's like not comfortable. So if I eat earlier in the day, I'm a lot better off when I go to bed. But I don't really know about stress responses. I mean, I was doing like I said, it took me a long time to get to where I would do something like 24 to 26 hours planned anyway. So, I'm not sure. Let's see. Fight or flight response.
I don't know. I think I don't know. We talked. I think we were talking right after she did the fast, like on the phone, but I don't remember. Oh, she says fight or flight response kicks in with elevated pulse. What's BG readings? Blood glucose, dizziness, eating resolved it.
Maybe she's not ready to fast yet.
Yeah. Maybe you're not ready to fast, Rebecca. I've never been ready.
I mean, realistically, sometimes, your body just doesn't cope well with it. Like I said, for me, it was like months of 12-12 and then a few months of 14-hour fasting. Then I would break and I would have like a, what's that? A 10-hour window, then an 8-hour window, then 4-hour window. And I just took my time getting, basically to where I was okay with it. And then I would pop it down a little bit and then just kept going till it became second nature. So I never really forced it. And I've broken, like I tried to do 21 days 2 or 3 times, and I would have got to about day 15, I think as far as I got first. And I had to stop it. I wasn't feeling right. So I stopped it. So anytime I don't feel good, I eat. So I mean, that's the great thing about it, whether, If you're
True.
fasting and you get 3-4 days in, you don't feel right, eat.
There you go. That's good advice. And I love the chat. They're so helpful right now. Thank you guys. I do OMAD, so I make sure I eat until I cannot possibly eat another bite. I usually fast 24, 48 hours. Depends on when I decide to finally eat. There you go. I love fasting and intermittent fasting. Aw, you guys are so cute. I can do intermittent fasting up to 21 hours and I'm fine. So maybe just stretch it to 22 and then see how you feel that way.
Yeah, and don't force it.
Yeah, there you go. I actually yesterday morning I ran out of coffee. So I was trying to do my morning fast without coffee, and then I realized I was starving. I'm wondering what would happen if I stopped drinking coffee. I wonder if I would be starving all the time. So when you're fasting, you don't drink coffee. You don't feel starving after like a day, right?
No, I just really hate going without coffee. Coffee is like, I had a discussion with somebody the other day. They were like, talking about joy and happiness, and I'm like, realistically, happiness is a cup of coffee in the morning before everybody's awake. Like it's, you have to find it where you can find it. You just have to, and coffee, like life without coffee isn't a life it's a life without joy. I mean, I can do it. I went a year without coffee to see if I could do it, and I didn't like it.
Aww.
I never got over not having coffee. I've quit smoking like 15 years ago. I don't eat a lot of, I changed how I eat. I don't drink unless it's a special occasion. I don't do it. But coffee, I'm not giving it up.
When I go to the States next, I got to remember, and I will send you a bag of coffee because I'll be visiting my parents in Indiana. So I'll just send it to you. Because I get coffee directly from my neighbor who gets it from her parents' coffee farm. I don't know how much fresher it could be. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I worked with a girl. I worked with a girl from Colombia for a long time.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if she was lying to me because I could never confirm it by looking it up. She said, and I don't even know if you would know this or not, but she said there are a lot of kids or a lot of people in Colombia named Usnavi.
I've heard this before. I haven't met Usnavi yet, though. I have not met Usnavi.
So I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought it was hilarious. So for those who don't know what we're talking about. So for those who don't know what we're talking about, in Colombia, there's a lot of U.S. warships that say U.S. Navy on them.
I have not met an Usnavi, but there are some funny names here. Like Robinson for a first name, for instance, like Robinson, not just like Robin, just Robinson. It seems like they try to have like Americanized names, but they're kind of confused. Not everybody.
Well, just the idea of like how our surnames work, like.
Yeah, exactly. My son is Jacob Felipe, and my daughter is Brianna Celeste. If you're going to say Brianna, it could be Jacob Philip or Brianna Celeste. But I wanted the Latino names, and my husband, the Colombian, he wanted the gringo names. And by the way, I can call myself a gringo. I live in Colombia, so nobody get offended. So that's
somebody somewhere is offended for you.
So, yeah, you can be offended for me, please. I always joke that I'm the gringa, so there you go. That's very funny that you brought that up. No, the coffee here is great. I'm going to talk to a girl next week. I'm going to interview her. She has a coffee farm, and if I understand correctly, it's organic, and they use hummingbirds. They have like a bunch of hummingbirds to eat the bugs so they can keep their coffee organic. So that's going to be an interesting interview. Did you freeze up again?
I think so.
Frozen. Oh,
can you still hear me?
I can. So that's good.
Okay. No, but we'll leave it the way it is.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. That's probably, so this is a relationship to Rebecca and the fasting. That's probably an anxiety response. You eating is just your mind. I spend a lot of my time feeling like that for no reason. It's the vagus nerve or something like that. Yeah, sure. I remember, I don't know what triggered it, but like in my 20s, I couldn't eat for days, but it was like an anxiety thing. Eating, I couldn't even eat, but I don't know what triggered it. Glad it went away. But it felt like something like in the vagus nerve, like something in my stomach. I I never got the coffee thing. Is that carnivorous, dude? You don't understand why we like coffee?
For me, I didn't drink coffee until I quit smoking. So
Oh,
I quit
fine.
smoking and I worked in an office.
Yeah.
And so I was so used to going outside every 2 hours or whatever to go for a smoke break that it was okay. Well, let's go outside and get coffee. We had a coffee shop on the grounds.
Yeah.
We were like a 3-building complex, and one of the buildings had a coffee shop in it. So I was going and walking with some people that I worked with to get coffee, which oddly enough, at the time, how much I was paying for cigarettes versus how much I was paying for coffee, I wasn't saving any money.
Yeah.
But I was doing myself a big benefit.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I've been on a cigarette fast for the last 8+ years. I smoked for a long time also, and then I saw that I was pregnant, and it was very easy for me to quit smoking then. But yeah, no, I've been drinking coffee, I think starting from 17 years old. So and it's just gotten worse.
I would drink coffee at a young age. We would go out and we would go to like Denny's and such with friends, and we would sit and smoke and drink, smoke and drink coffee and stuff on the weekends at night. So that was the thing we would do. Okay. But it was, like 4, 5, 6 creamers, 6, 7 sugars into a small Denny's coffee cup. So it was not a whole lot of coffee in there.
No. So here we'll talk about something else in a second, but I do need to say that it's not uncommon for Colombian children to drink coffee with milk. My daughter will drink coffee. She was literally drinking coffee and still breastfeeding.
Yeah, they showed that in Kanto.
Yeah, it's not a lie. It's not a lie. And by the way, I wouldn't do this with coffee in the US because it would taste gross, but you can do it with coffee here. It's a lot better. You put lime in your coffee. It's like a lemonade coffee.
That sounds interesting. Yeah.
It is. I don't know if the coffee is so bad in the US that it would taste terrible. All right. KL, quit smoking cigarettes in 2018. But I do have a cigar from time to time. There you go. I don't think you inhale cigars. I think it does less damage possibly to the.
I don't risk it. I would love to have a nice cigar. I used to enjoy those, but I wouldn't risk it now. It's been too long.
Yeah. Would it get the cigarette cravings going again?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I still have dreams where I'm smoking cigarettes. Even still, I'm 14 years without a cigarette.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't have dreams about food or cigarettes. I'm happy about that. Here's Rick. Cigars are nasty. Rick is just the purest of pure.
I know. What does Rick like?
Rick, what do you like? He likes to eat iguanas.
He does. He was telling me the other day he was eating iguanas. Yeah.
Iguanas and ducks. He cares for his ducks. Oh, man. Oh, KL says it does it for him. Okay, that's good. All right. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? Do you guys in the wonderful chat have any other questions about keto, carnivore, fasting, Colombia, Indiana? Oh, man. I like Indiana. It's so nice there. Oh, Rick says he likes Mopars.
I've had bad luck with Mopars. I had 3 Mopars in a row, and I switched to Honda.
Oh, okay.
That'll set him off, I'm sure.
Rick, I've only personally owned one car in my life, and it was a Chevy Cobalt 2007. It had a tragic ending. Hoosier, another Indiana.
Brett.
Hi, Brett. Rick likes duck eggs and iguana tails.
I would try iguana tails. They're just hard to come by up in central Indiana.
Yeah, you got to go down to Miami apparently and go to Rick's house. Amazing how many people know what I like. Is that a joke?
There's like 2 things you like.
Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, here, this is what I drive Fords mostly, so I am always working on them.
At least you have something to do.
Yeah, exactly. Rebecca, are you a crime junkie? They're from Indiana. I am not a crime junkie. How about you?
Not really. There was one thing I was trying to look into. because near where I lived, not far from where I lived, there was because I live near Speedway, Indiana, which is
Oh,
like a
okay.
small. Like, I mean, it's basically like just a small town inside of Indianapolis, and it's like where the track is. So I don't live far from the 500. And there was a restaurant called Burger Chef, and in the late 70s, all of the kids who were working at Burger Chef one night they all went missing. And it's like a big mystery, the Burger Chef murders or whatever. It's all
Oh,
still
wow.
relatively unsolved. Yeah.
Wait,
So that's kind
is
of,
that in Indiana?
yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds so scary.
I think there's a documentary coming out soon about it, but I'm not sure what platform it'll be.
Oh man, I don't know if I could deal with that. Like, there's this thing that happens when you become a mom. You literally can't watch things about kids getting hurt.
Well, that's the same way. Yeah, Chandra's the same way. Like when we first started watching Stranger Things, even she was
Oh.
like, I don't know if I could watch this. The kids, and I'm like, you'll be fine.
Stranger Things I can deal with, actually. Because in that moment I pretend like I'm still 13 years old, but no, if I'm watching movies about kids getting kidnapped and stuff like that, I'm like, no, I can't watch
Yeah,
this.
I have a hard time watching that stuff now too. Like, yeah.
It's weird. It's something that changes when you become a parent, that wasn't there before you were a parent. Let's see, what do we got here? I loved my Hemi. What's a Hemi?
Hemi's the engine inside of a Mopar. It's like a souped up engine they put in a Mopar. So Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Okay, yeah, I'm totally not like understanding anything about cars. I had to have like my uncle verify I was buying the right car. Loved my Hemi until it got the tick. My Ram died at 104,000 miles. Now I have a Titan. Is that another?
I think is it Toyota Titan or is it a Nissan Titan? I can't remember what Titan is.
Okay. KL, I've lost 56 pounds since January. I'll start weightlifting next week. Wow, that's awesome. Wow.
That is impressive.
Wow. That's very impressive.
And then as you start to weightlift, there'll be kind of a period where you'll kind of start to gain weight, most likely, and you'll get frustrated. But then the more muscle you put on, the better able you'll be to burn fat.
Yeah, totally.
In theory.
KL, how old are you, if you don't mind? So I've decided that I hate all men, even though I love you all, because you all lose weight a lot easier than us women.
Yeah.
Does your wife have the same feelings?
Yes. Because we've been eating the same stuff for the same amount of time, and she hasn't really lost anything.
Oh, okay. Does she do fasting?
She doesn't do that.
Oh, okay. I'm curious how she would do on the carnivore diet. I'm curious.
Which we have.
Oh,
because
okay.
She eats what I cook. So,
yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I think there's some things because Amy Berger that has said some things that was a big long checklist of check marks, things that Chandra deals with, and I want to say that she should get a full diagnostic thyroid panel. But her being a nurse, you would think she would be all about it, but she refuses.
She probably should. I need to do the same. So I'm not just saying she should. I need to do the same thing, actually. I was trying to do it before my thing with Anthony Chafee, so he could just like give me free medical advice on a live stream, but I didn't have time to do that. Let's see. Okay, so regarding the car, it's a Nissan
Titan. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And KL is September. Oh no. What day is your birthday, KL? I'll be 41 in September.
I just turned 45 in June.
Oh, nice. My wife does too. I guess that's like hating men losing weight so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then my husband never gains weight. I'm pointing this way like he's still in the room. He's not there anymore. He never gains weight, never loses weight. And I'm glad that my kids have like his metabolism. Oh, the second. I think that's my mom's birthday. Oh, we lost him again. My birthday is September 16th. I think my mom's is the 2nd. I should be a better daughter, but there you go. Rick is 56. Are you 56? That's crazy. Yeah, how old is everybody in the chat? And I hope we lost Dustin. So while Dustin's away, I wanted to share something with y'all. Jordan Peterson yesterday Sorry, I'm trying to put this up on the screen at the same time. He tweeted out the trailer for Healing Humanity. And that is pretty amazing. So I'm going to try to share the screen here. Healing Humanity, Jordan B. Peterson, he says, this man is a talented editor and this is a necessary film. And check out the 83-year-old blonde carnivore rancher. So as of whenever I pulled this up to show you guys, let me see, is it looking? Okay, good. It had reached 81,000 people. So that's pretty amazing. I love that. I've worked very hard on this, not as hard as Carrie or Adam, but I've put a lot of effort into this over the last year. So the trailer is pretty awesome. Oh, I'm 40. I'm going to stop sharing this. Okay, cool. There we go. So let's see. Joe Rogan will be next. Yeah, I hope so. That would be awesome. Even though he's not totally carnivore, once in a while, he says he eats something. I mean, whatever. He is a huge proponent of the carnivore diet. So yes, that's amazing. And everyone forgets about the 40-year carnivore after Maggie was discovered by Dr. Jamie. I've never forgotten about you. Rick was the first person I've ever interviewed, and it was so easy because I didn't really know what to do at the time. And he just talked. So it made my first interview, my first podcast ever, the easiest thing. Thank you so much, Rick. This says, when you start lifting, go more by the measurements and not the weight. Awesome job. I've only lost 20 pounds in 3 months, but I'm doing weights too. I think maybe we need to also get our attention just off of weight. Like how you feel is so much more important, like physically and mentally. It says when you start lifting weights, go more by measurements and not the weight. Awesome job. I've lost 20 pounds in 3 months, but I'm doing weights. And I say if we just stop worrying so much about the weight, but how we feel, it's also, I think, a better metric. Because
I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I feel better than I felt in a long time. And after you have kids, and this is definitely a female thing and not a male thing, but I had 2 kids back to back, and I nursed my daughter for 3 years and 4 months, and she wasn't a sleeper. And I was working in the morning and staying up all night, many nights in a row, not all night, but very bad sleep. And my body was wrecked. So then eating carnivore, following this way of eating, I just felt like a normal human being again, in days. And I couldn't have been happier to not feel terrible. So that's why I say that's a better metric. Poor Rick. Everybody forgets about him. You're now the 41-year carnivore, Rick, aren't you? Yeah, there we go. Lost 7-8 inches from my waist. That's great. Yeah, that's where you need to lose it from, right? You need to lose it from your waist and your belly. That's where it's metabolically bad, from what I understand. Looking forward to adding racquetball to my weekly workout routine. I haven't played it in 10 years, but still have all my gear. There you
go. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, that does sound like fun. What is
to get hit in the face with a ball?
I'm going to start paintballing. That's my new exercise now. I would love it if everyone could tell us what dramatic thing did they notice eating either keto or carnivore sort of diet. I always love hearing people's success stories, but what is something, Dustin, that happened with you that you didn't expect?
So the first thing that truly cemented this lifestyle for me as a permanent fixture of my life would be, I was sitting at work, and it's about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And for a long time, around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would start to get drowsy, start to kind of nod off. Fighting that, really fighting nodding off at work. And I would always be on the hunt for candy. There's almost always some kind of candy around the office. We have vending machines in the little break room area, and, pitch in leftovers here and there and all kinds of stuff. And I'd always be on the hunt for that. But one day I'm sitting there. I wasn't drowsy. I was wide awake. It was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had for so long felt like I was trying to live by kind of walking through like a swamp. And you're just kind of like just trying to get through, and everything feels like a struggle, and it just feels like you're so foggy and you can't concentrate well, and everything's a struggle. Everything's a just just out of reach. And the day that I realized that I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, if you will, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I'm awake. I'm not hungry. I'm not trying to go find food. I'm not feeling low, if that makes sense. For people who have been like a diabetic state where you feel like, because I would leave work and go grocery shopping after a long day of work, and I would be in the checkout line, and I'd be like, man, I feel so low. I'd pick up 2 candy bars and eat them on my way home. So I'm like, I feel low. Better get some sugar.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's so great. It's so great, that mental clarity and not pushing yourself through the day. Like, you just have natural energy.
And one of the things that's kind of come up that I've really started to notice as of late that I didn't fully grasp until recently was just the ability to control food. So I don't, I can, like the first few months walking to the grocery store, I'd walk by the cookie aisle and be like, oh, I wish we could have Oreos. Oh, I wish we could have this. Oh, I wish we could have that. And now I don't care. Like, what I want has changed. Like, what I desire has changed.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome.
So that's just one of those things, like the mental clarity, not needing to take ibuprofen every day, not needing to take allergy medicine anymore.
Oh, wow.
I was taking a lot of Benadryl, like a crazy, scary amount of Benadryl. I was taking like 4 to 5 Benadryl tablets at a time, like 4 times a day.
Oh my gosh! No wonder you were falling asleep. No wonder.
Well, no, I mean, but I'm sure it didn't help. But if I like just like a couple of months ago, about a year ago, I had something like a rash on my hand, and it was like burning and itchy. I don't know if I had touched something or something, or got into something. I didn't know what it was, but it was so itchy. I was like, I don't know what. And so I took some Benadryl, like 2 of them, and I passed out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I couldn't imagine taking 25 pills in a day like I used to.
Oh my God, it's so crazy, isn't it? No, if I take Benadryl, I'm out. I'm like dead to the world. Oh my God. Very fast.
I would take it and drive.
Oh my gosh. That's rough.
Yeah.
We got some good success stories here. When I even ask this, I'm like, what's the most unexpected thing? And I always say my C-section scar healed. That was like, there's so many great things, but if I say unexpected, I had an unhealed C-section scar for 5 years. And then 3 months into carnivore, it was like, oh, well, maybe I should have seen a doctor before then. KL, how great I feel is very unexpected. Yeah, it's so unexpected. It's like amazing to feel great all the time. Rebecca, my autoimmune diseases had me practically just lying in bed. I was on pain meds, antidepressants, anti-anxiety. I drank to numb the pain. I couldn't take care of my kids because I didn't have energy. Wow, Rebecca, how many times have we talked? I did not know any of this. This is amazing. We have to talk about this. This is wonderful. It gave me my life back. That's amazing. This is why we got to tell these success stories. Like, people, unless you've done it and you've come to the other side, we look like weirdos, like that are just lying with tinfoil hats or something, like weird conspiracy theorists, but it's just not true. Rick, I've always hated anything with a bar in it. Sorry, Rick. Agoraphobic carnivore. For me, it was my cheat day. When I half an apple, I felt so bad that I remembered how I used to feel. Gassy, upset stomach, headache. Took 2 days to get back to like feeling like I do on carnivore. Wow. Yeah, I understand.
See, I haven't had anything like that. Like my birthday this year, I did get some pizza from Pizza Hut, and I just felt like trash. But like we'll go apple picking, in the fall. We'll go get pumpkins and go to the apple orchard and pick some apples, and I'll have an apple, and it doesn't bother me.
Oh,
But I
it's nice.
mean, but like stuff like pizza and stuff like that, that'll
Mhm.
just wreck me. But I
Sure.
still do it because I'm a dum-dum, I guess. But
We all are. We're human. But yeah, no, I understand. I don't know if an apple will do that to me, but other foods will do that to me. I can't, like, for instance, eat salami anymore, even though it's carnivore. I will have the runs within 20 minutes. I can't. I don't know what did it. I went home and I bought some sauerkraut because I was craving sauerkraut, and I ate it and it gave me the runs. So,
well, that could be just because your gut biome isn't used to it too.
right. Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. Bar can mean candy or a place full of booze and cigarettes. That's true. Rick's new name should be Trailblazing Trendsetter, and he says he's going to start a new channel. Good for you. Nan, hello.
Hi, Nan.
Who's Nan? Is that your someone related to Nan?
No, she's one of my members on my channel. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Let's see here. Let's see. I always focus on my kids. Yes, you do. You're a very good mom. I'm glad to hear Rebecca is doing so much better. Me too. Rebecca, I had no idea. How did I not know this? And Uncle Big Guy, howdy y'all. It's 6:30 a.m. already. Where are you?
Well, he comes and joins me on my Sunday morning live. I go live at 7:30 Eastern. Yeah.
I'm like, what time? Where is it? 6:30 in the morning. It's 7:00 here. I don't know where there's like an hour and a half.
He's in Kansas.
Oh,
so he's on like mountain time, I think.
Mountain. Yeah, that's funny. Uncle Big Guy, I love that. Okay, so we're at about an hour here. Does anyone else have anything they would like to share, communicate, question before we end up off here? Looking forward to Indiana State Fair meetup. Oh, that sounds so fun.
Yeah, we're doing awesome. A meetup on August the 6th. Because we were like, because people don't get to see Chandra at the meetups because she works every weekend.
Oh, okay.
So we were like, well, what can we do during the week that would be low planning?
Yeah.
When we have the Indiana State Fair, and there's 2 Tuesdays during the run of the fair, and they're $2 Tuesdays. So instead of costing $14 a person to get in, it's $2 a person to get in. And then each stall, if you choose, has $2 items. So we're going to open that up and be there from like noon to whenever we decide to leave, and hopefully people will join us, and we don't have to worry about having a place and having restrictions and all that stuff, because we do 2 meetups every year here in Central Indiana anyway, where we have like 50 people show up.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Fun. Maybe Hoosier will be there. There's so many like Carnivore Indiana people here. I love that. I pretend like I'm from Indiana. I have a lot of family in Evansville. So there you go. I've
never been to Evansville. As weird as that. Well, because I mean, they're building the interstate now, but there never used to be an interstate there. Although from Indy down there, you'd have to take like state roads or whatever.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. All I know is that my dad, this is back in the day in the 90s, would pack us up in the car at the end of the night when he was done working, and we would go to Grandma's house, and it was like an all-night drive from Chicago to Evansville.
Oh yeah, well, Chicago to Evansville, because like Chicago's like 3 hours from where I'm at, and Evansville's another 2.5, 3 hours from me.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because I'm smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, my cousins are so cute and they're so funny and they're very proud. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but they love being rednecks. One of them has a tattoo that says redneck there. Years ago, I was like ordained a redneck. But okay, here, last question, and we're gonna end because it has nothing to do with carnivore. Do people from Indiana all consider themselves redneck, or is that just like in the South, closer to Kentucky?
I mean, I think it just depends on who you are. It just depends. I mean, I know some rednecks, but I mean, not everybody in Indiana would be considered a redneck. But the funny thing is Hoosier is what represents Indiana.
He is, and he's totally not redneck. Yeah.
So there's Hoosiers, and I remember I was in St. Louis, Missouri, in like 2000, 2001, something like that. And I was at a club called the Galaxy, and I'm standing waiting for this band to play. And I heard these two guys like, huh, you're a Hoosier. No, man, you're a Hoosier. And I was like, this is interesting. So I was like, excuse me, gentlemen. What do you mean by Hoosier? And they're like, oh, you mean like dumb redneck. I was like, aren't people from Indiana called Hoosiers? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, I'm from Indiana.
And you're like, so big.
It was funny.
Oh, that's very funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's very funny.
Hoosier Quaker. Well, there's like
Quacker. I think this is Quacker.
I was thinking Quaker, but we do have like Amish people here too. But I saw the other day I was at Costco and I saw a priest in the full priest outfit.
Nice.
Like chain and everything, like floor length gown or whatever they wear, and then there were two Mennonite, a Mennonite couple, a husband, wife, and kid. So Mennonites are basically like modern Amish, if you will. So they can ride in cars and they can do that kind of stuff, but they still don't do TV and all that. They don't do it like they can like interact better with modern society, but they don't partake necessarily. They can still go to the grocery store and do stuff like that, but they dress like the Amish. That's from what I understand.
Okay, I understand. I went to an Amish community in Illinois once. And being dumb as I am sometimes, I asked where the light was in the bathroom. Like, because my dad was buying something from them, and they had electricity in their business, but in the bathroom they didn't have electricity. They were door makers. They made professional like doors. Yeah. My dad was picking up a door for a company he was working for. But so they kind of looked at me like I was dumb. I'm like, do you know where the light is in the bathroom?
I mean, it's an easy question. I mean, even if you're a kid and like, it's just an easy thing because you're so used to it. You're like,
oh no, this was like a couple of years ago. I was definitely in my 30s.
Oh, I mean, I would still do that too. Like we would get we had one night we'd had power gone out for a couple hours, and like I got up to go to the bathroom, and I was still reaching for the light switch.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, I understand that. Sometimes I lose power. It's very annoying. Okay, so we've gone way off the subject of keto fasting and carnivore, but that's okay because it's the end of the live stream. If you've made it this far in the replay, congratulations. Dustin, anything else you want to say before we terminate this live stream?
No, well, thank you for having me. I totally appreciate it.
Sure.
We go live on Tuesdays. Shandra and I go live on Tuesdays. I go live on Sundays at 7:30 a.m. When I have a guest, I usually do that Saturday mornings. I may be having a guest this Saturday morning. I'm waiting on confirmation. She started at 599 pounds.
Wow.
And is working her way down. So
that's awesome.
She just had like a lap band surgery, so she's really trying. But I want to talk with her about, like the optics of being a big person and things like that. So if that works out, it might be this Saturday, maybe next Saturday, depending on when we can work a timeout. But yeah, I've got video coming out tomorrow, probably another one coming out Sunday. I've really been slacking as of late, putting out actual content and just going live. But I'm trying to rectify that now. So
yeah, I understand. Sometimes it's easier to just go live. You don't have to edit anything. You're just there.
I just feel like, because I put a video out the other about breaking my fast that was 3 hours, and we didn't talk about breaking my fast until like the last 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
KL says, I'll be fishing on Saturday morning, so I may join the live, Dustin. There you go.
All right. Look forward to it.
Awesome. And I will be live with Rebecca tomorrow night. We are going to take up, Rebecca is a nurse. Rebecca also has 2 teenagers that are high functioning autistic. Is that how you say that? Now I want to try to be politically correct. And I've talked to both of them and they are great. And she has helped them by getting them to be on a ketogenic diet. She's helped them a lot. I spoke to her son and he said that this way of eating has improved his quality of life by 7 times. I have an interview with him on my channel if anyone's interested. So we're talking about autism and how a low carb diet can help the symptoms of that. And also Christy from Meeting Wellness. And she's going to talk about ADHD because her son was diagnosed with ADHD, and he was on meds for a very short period of time. They took him off of them. And he also has had success on a low carb diet. And I say low carb because they're not carnivore specifically, but even low carb has helped them all very much. So that's the subject of tomorrow night's live stream. Everyone's welcome to join. There you go. All right. Yeah. And thanks for joining me, Dustin.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for everybody in the chat. It's been wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, everybody in the chat. I'm always so rude and forget. You guys make the live stream fun. And with that said, hasta luego, everybody. I'm going to hit end.